Okay, so it's been a long since I've done a video, and it's been quite a journey. I know in the beginning of my channel, I was in a situation where I was dramatic. I was going through a lot. Just everything that piled up on, my having my daughter taken away from me. Found out that like my entire family, friends, everyone in my life was involved in some way, stealing from me, attacking me spiritually, plotting on my demise. Just to sum it up, basically, I found out that I was being trafficked. My daughter and I were being trafficked. And it's still a little, hidden here and there how it happened. But basically, this was a cult. It was some sort of a church cult that my ex-husband and his family got involved in. And another guy from the government, just a lot of people got involved. And it was directed towards me mostly because of an inheritance, a couple of inheritances that I had that were millions of dollars. And I didn't know, but my aunt, Nancy, that lives in Idaho, she and my uncle hired this government guy who I guess on the side targets people, destroys their lives for money, and then unalives them or traffics them. I doubt his real boss knows that he does this, but and so they started targeting me probably 2018, 2019, from what I think. And cameras, my whole life was on the dark web along with my daughter. They started grooming my daughter behind the scenes. And I didn't know this government guy was a pedophile. They sent a man in to date me, and he destroyed me for that period of time, but I actually got rid of him, which didn't help me in any situation. But so this, for years, I just, over time, I was realizing what was happening, and I was realizing that I had absolutely no control over what these people were going to do to me. This was the government. Police officers were involved. Politicians were involved. The district attorney's office was involved. The family court was involved. Denver, Colorado has the largest trafficking ring and cult. And it's going to come out. I'm pray for it every day, because they're destroying and unaliving so many people. So many people. And I feel the reason why I suddenly found out and came out about it is that they needed people like me and hopefully others that will be able to expose this. Because Denver, Colorado, there was not a single person, including an FBI agent, a police officer, a judge. No one would help me, and everybody knew my situation. Everybody knew that my life had been on the dark web, and they were all making money off of it. From what I'm hearing, the city council of Denver was making money off of the videos. What I get to is they either said this was like a reality show that I signed up for and that I was okay with it, or it was some sort of illegal surveillance where they said, oh, she's this and we need to watch her. It's something like that. But it was illegal. It was done by the government, and the city of Denver was making money off of it. And because it was run by a few pedophiles, including, this is bad. I don't know how on earth I picked a life path where I'd be surrounded by pedophiles to where my daughter would then get destroyed, And so, if you heard my last story, basically, my lease was coming up. I had just found out that my daughter was working with this government man that's a leader of this cult. He's a warlock. She was somehow having an affair with him. She was a 12-year-old girl with a 54-year-old man. And she was working with him to destroy my life. And, I'm told, like, basically she's been under a lot of manipulation and witchcraft. And she's in an illusion right now. but they had her steal from me. They had her steal private information about for her, steal from me, poison me. And so as much as I came out, and was talking about it, it was like this guy had the power to shadow ban my account. So every I'm talking to, it's not getting anywhere. But it's just like, it's not going to stop me. I'm going to keep talking about it. So there was a woman that was helping me, and this is a woman that worked with him in some aspect, this government guy. And she was the one that told me what they were doing to my daughter. And when I addressed it with my daughter, that's when my daughter ran to my ex, because A, she feels like she's going to be in trouble because she did a lot of bad things. They had her do a lot of bad things. But B, too, she also was against me. And so she ran to him. And then when I tried to get her help, family court got involved and took her away permanently. I had no say. There was no evidence on anyone's part for the judge to basically say, sorry, you lose your daughter. Bye. Yeah. And so then basically she came to me again and said they plan on doing something to you. They plan on unaliving you. They know you're moving out at the end of the month. They don't want you to leave the state because basically then they won't have a lot of control over you, because so many officials in Denver were involved that they are covered anywhere I go. But outside of Denver, it's like it's hard for them to catch who I'm going to, and so they want to take me out. And so I was like, what am I going to do? And so I basically acted, I was packing up and everything. And then just one day I just got in my car and I kept driving, and I left some stuff in the apartment and everything. The leasing manager was involved. Like, it was bad. And I just was driving around aimlessly all over the, state to state to state, staying in Motel 6s because they accept cats. So I'm driving around in my car with 2 cats and a dog, not knowing where to go, stressed, depressed, anxious. And immediately I wanted to go home, to my family. I have people that are like parents to me in Mount Vernon, Washington. But, I was finding out that all these people were involved, but I just kept thinking, how could these people do this to me? I love them, and maybe it's just gossip and then I went home thinking, I was good and safe, and they weren't trying to help me. And then after doing a recording of them, I found out they were involved. What I'm getting is that they set out on a slander campaign to basically isolate me. This is what they do. So then by the time you figure out what's going on, it's too late, and you will have no one to talk to, go to. No one will believe you because they already created that narrative that you're crazy so many months ago that by the time you call, you're going to sound crazy. And so they knew that was going to happen. So I'm getting that a lot of people, that was the fact, but there were a lot of people too, friends and family members of mine, that were doing it for money from my inheritance. And there were a lot of other people that were doing it because they hated me, because they were in a cult the whole time. I'm even, some part of me, I feel like Spirit's trying to tell me that my whole life was basically a Truman Show, that I might not even be, I think some huge family secrets are going to come out. So basically, I've been driving around state to state. I finally got a hold of an organization I'm not going to mention right now, just in case they're watching. That's they helped me get a safe house. And so I've been staying in this tiny, tiny little camper with my dog and 2 cats, trying to figure out where I'm going to live. I have to get back on my feet. These people took everything from me, stole my money, stole inheritances, made me lose my job. I'm spending money out of my retirement account right now, which is, I'm going to be big time penalized for by the IRS. And so that was kind of that. The reason why I want to talk about this mostly is because I feel like this is something that a lot of people are going to run into, and a lot of people really need to kind of know. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to run into what I was, where for a long time I just never believed there was a God. Why would a God let all these bad things happen to people? Why would God let them traffic children? Why would God let this happen to me? I'm a good person, all this stuff, right? And then sometimes it's just, there's a balance, and there's just things, there's karma that needs to play out. There's curses that need to play out. And so this journey has not only been me, obviously trying to find a new start in my life and hopefully one day get my daughter back, and safe, and it's also finding God. I really am trying to find God. I want to know what all these people are talking about that's so great, and so many of us get mixed up between it's the universe and equal give and take, as above, so below, the universal laws, God or God's source, energy, everybody, it doesn't matter, is what I get from it. You can believe he's a man, you can believe he's a ball of energy, you can believe just that it's the universe. That's fine. But as long as you, one day, after doing a lot of inner work, that you get to a point of living in faith, that something's always going to have your back. You live with truth. You live with patience. When things aren't working out, always trust that it will. But if it's a stagnation, there's a reason for it. Understanding the lessons that we go through, the trials and tribulations, how to protect ourselves spiritually. There's so many things that we have to figure out about ourselves and our journey. And once we figure those things out, we can give them to the universe, whoever it is you believe in. The whole point of this journey is taking all the weight off of yourself and giving it back. Take it away. And then walking in faith. And you know how hard that is after all the brain, the mind control that we've been through our whole lives. And then to all of a sudden one trip, I'm supposed to all of a sudden just trust in something I can't see. So I've always been someone where I'm like, you have to prove it to me. I'm not going to believe this unless you prove it to me, unless I see it for myself, unless I see a miracle. I've always been like that. And so this has been a journey. And what I've learned so far is that prayer works. But just know this, everything's energy, but your words and your thoughts and your actions are so powerful. And that's why prayer is powerful. And that's why anything you say can create your life, your destiny, everything, your thoughts, your actions. And I 100% have experienced that. And I will say it from now till the end of time. Watch what you think, watch what you say, watch how, just anything. You're supposed to live like, just look at this. Look at this. Okay? Look how beautiful. Right? But sometimes when we're in a state of mind of all the hell we've been through, we got to worry about our job, or what am I going to do for money? All that stuff, we never enjoy this like we should, and we're not grateful. We feel like we don't have time to be grateful. And so I'm going to talk about this a little bit, about what I've been learning and how Spirit has been guiding me and teaching me how to walk in faith, how to learn how to let go. And think about this. My daughter was trafficked from me. She was manipulated and molested by her father, her uncles, family members, older men that my ex-husband solicited her off to. She's an underage prostitute. These people stole money from me. These people stole my life. So if I can let go of that and walk in faith and know that it's all going to work out, then you can too. So I feel like I want to try and do a daily video, because I do feel like this is something that everyone needs to try and do. So we always hear about the rapture and the new earth and all this stuff. And I'm in a very small Christian town. And that's all these people talk about is the rapture, right? Us more spiritual people call it the new earth, right? But these people, that's all they're waiting for. They just want heaven. And it's really sad, you know? And I feel like God put me here to kind of, sorry. I feel like God put me here to basically see many sides to religion, to God, to who is God to you. I feel like I was put in this town, you know, to watch these people, no matter, they live with nothing practically. And these people go to church, they believe in God, they're kind, they do kind things for people, they walk in faith. I mean, these people walk in faith. When I say they walk in faith, they walk in faith. And God put me here because God wanted me to do that. And to watch these people. And you know, and I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do if, you know, this happens with Lainey. And they're like, just have faith. Have faith that it's all going to work out. You know, it's hard. So if I can do it, you can do it too. But yeah, so I'm in this very small town, very Christian. Unlike me, long time ago, these people would have annoyed the crap out of me. They like, all they talk about is God, right? But I've started reading the Bible. I've never done that before. And I want to talk about something in the next video about how you know when God is telling you something or speaking to you. And I kept hearing, you know, when it's in his word. So anytime God has a message for you, if it's not in his word, if it's not in his Bible, in the Bible, then it's not from him. It's not from God, okay? So, do I believe God is a man? I don't believe God is a man, no. Do I believe that God is a source of energy that we're all connected to, and that from this source energy that we're all connected to, that we all have God inside of us? And the only way that we can be in alignment with this God, this source power energy, is if these things, live in faith, that we can be patient, that we've done the healing work, that we're serving others. Everything, if we can walk like God or Jesus, then we're connected. And then you're going to the new earth. There's a lot of people that aren't going, and there are a lot of people that haven't done anything wrong that aren't going. And that's why there's such a push for people. If you've experienced trauma, heartache, a horrible experience in your past, you went through that so that you could open up and talk about it. And if you don't start going out and helping other people and serving other people, whether it be based on your life experience, then you're not doing a service to others. And you won't go. The healing work is the most important thing. It's taking everything out of you and giving it to God. You know? And for me, I've had to do it a few times. I still go back. It's really hard. So I'm still working on that. It's hard to let go of a child, you know, and trust God. That, you know. So this is my story of walking with God, learning more about God. But I'm going to talk to chosen ones too, because you're going to need to know what's expected of chosen ones. Because I've had my butt handed to me by the universe, God, because I wasn't learning the lesson. And I was so frustrated because I'd be like, why am I still stuck here? Why am I still in this hotel? And you know, and all this stuff. And it's scary, but God will sit you down in one place until you stop worrying, you stop your anxiety, but you also have to stop the pattern that you have going on that's keeping you stuck. God's not going to take you to the next level in life, the next step, the next cycle in any aspect of your life until you've learned the lesson in the cycle that you're in. Now, how do you realize what cycle you're in? That's where you got to ask. You got to go within. What am I learning right now? What is this lesson, right? The other day, you know, I had met this guy a couple times, introduced to me. He's a little younger than me, but this guy has some severe trauma. A lot of people in this town have severe trauma. Severe trauma. And he's, walking kind of aimlessly. Like, he doesn't really have a job. He lives with somebody. He's a nice kid, but you can just tell he's lost. He's like a kid in a grown man's body. And I got triggered by him, because I would try to help him. I would say, well, therapy always helps, or, reaching out to other people who have been through the same thing that you have helps, or, you're trying to help somebody, right? And then I realized that this guy was like not taking the advice. He liked bringing up his issues. I mean, he had no problem doing that. He was very open about it, and he was open of hearing your advice, but accepting it and acting on it, no. So for me, I'm like, well, I'm not going to help you then. I didn't say that to him, but I got triggered because, and then I was trying to figure out that trigger. And then it turns around that they're saying, oh, that he likes you. And I'm like, I got more triggered, right? And when I'm telling you this story, when you get triggered on anything, if it remotely upsets you, that's a sign from the universe or God to look at that and figure out why that is. That is something that's connected to a trauma, right? So I'm still trying to figure out what that trauma is. A part of it is the fact that I lack patience in people who, don't accept help or try to help themselves. But then, if I really think about it, I was probably like that too. People trying to help me and I just kept going on with the same patterns, So maybe I'm to learn to have more patience for people who are broken, and to understand them more, And so that's the one thing I'm learning, is that every time in life, if there's something that triggers me or bothers me, and it could be the smallest thing, you're supposed to stop and go, okay, what is the universe trying to tell me here? Because it needs to be fixed. And if you can fix that and you don't ignore it, then you go to the next cycle. Now, there's a bunch of things you can learn in one cycle, and the universe will keep you homeless if it has to, in order for you to go, oh, okay, I get why I do this, right? And once you admit to yourself, okay, I'm like this, the whole point is to have an ego death. The whole point is is to accept things about yourself that you're embarrassed about, or that you don't want people to know about you. And once you can accept those things and fix them and move on, that's the whole point of this journey. Seems kind of weird, doesn't it? It's like, who chose to do this? So, have I been scared out of my mind? Yeah. I've been living in my car. I had people following me, gang stalkers. They're still hacking into my devices. I don't know if they know where I am. There is a kid here, though, that's a part of this communal living. And I feel like God also puts me in situations. They'll put you in situations as chosen ones to see if you have learned your gift of discernment. And so a lot of times they'll stick, someone will come around you and you'll be fine with it. And then all of a sudden something's not right and you have to go with that. And like this kid, I feel like this kid pretends to be fully Christian, but might be dabbling in a little witchcraft. And I'm not sure if he, was contacted by this cult and he's doing stuff with me or to me, or he's doing it on his own. He admitted he used to do witchcraft, but, and so just know that too. Even though you're in a scenario because of it, whether it be karma or a lesson you need to learn, there's also people, places, and things that are put in your life because God wants to strengthen something about you that you need, that might be a gift of yours. So if you are supposed to have the gift of discernment, meaning like to know who to be around and who not, and who to talk to and tell your stuff and who not to, then you'll constantly get people in your life that are going to sabotage you until you get that gift strengthened. So everything's a lesson. And and then the thing of just too, like with everything I'm going through, knowing my daughter is where she's at and I can't do anything to protect her or save her. And I just want to do that so bad. I know I got to get to that place where I just trust God. I have to trust him. She has her own path too, even though she's 14, you know, and she's got to learn some lessons, and it's hard because you want to protect, you know. There's a lot of things too that as a mother that I did that I want to take it back, you know. So I'm hoping that I have that opportunity one day to make it up to her, you know, because at least I acknowledge that. And that's the thing too, if you're a parent, when you lost your kid or you are distant from your kid or you don't talk to your kid anymore, don't ever think it was just the kid's fault. And if you know that you had a lot to do with that, oh my God, please just own it. Write a letter, call them, and it doesn't matter if they don't call you back. If you do it genuinely and then you give the rest to God and just say, God, please just let them know that I'm sincere and one day that they forgive me. Just give it. And just have trust that God will do it. So I'm going to help you guys find God, find your God, but I'm going to tell you how you can do it. Okay. And I'm hoping too that I get some people on here that are more experienced in that department and help me too. Because I would love to hear your guys' testimonies. I would love it. And any advice that you have for me, because I'm homeless. I live in a tiny little camper outside of someone's house where these people house abused women and, you know, people in need, and trying to figure out where I'm going to live, who's going to help me get my daughter back from an entire city that makes money off of her. So, yeah. Anyway, so I will keep you posted.